If you're having coffee with me, I'll welcome you to my tangle of words. Feel at home and allow me to share my latest adventure at an international fair in a teapot-shaped country. The city of kings, Bulawayo, brought to life. Funny phrase that. The kind of colorful phrases that journalists like to use to describe the bustle of activity caused by some events. How does a city roar? Perhaps if its coat of arms and a lion rampant. Bulawayo associates more with an elephant imagery. What sound does an elephant make? Trumpet. Bulawayo hosted the 64th edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, which ran from the 23rd to the 27th of April under the theme Innovation, the Catalyst for Industrialization and Trade. The City of Kings trumpeted to life. That doesn't sound quite as majestic. Anyhow, all roads in Bulawayo led to the trade fair grounds this past week. ZITF is an annual event that is a vibrant showcase of trade, innovation, and industries not just in Zimbabwe, but of regional and global interest. The fair was birthed in 1899 by the Rhodesia Farmers Union, which later became the Bulawayo Agricultural Society, which hosted the Central African Trade Fair to cater for industry and opened by Queen Elizabeth II in May 1899. The fair became known as the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair in 1980, becoming the country's premier trade show. The 2024 show was opened by Kenyan President William Ruto, which had 766 exhibitions from 26 countries, which included South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Tanzania, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, and South Africa. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that I had never attended the fair before, and when the opportunity presented itself, I decided why not have a bit of an adventure. And an adventure it was. Accommodation prices and prices for amenities get a ZITF hike to take advantage of the influx of visitors. For some people, this is the time they make money, similar to how florists make bag during Valentine's season. Then of course there's the Bulawayo mats, where people tend to favor using rands for some transactions such as commuter fare, resulting in what looks like very dodgy transactions to the uninitiated, especially on the backdrop of being in between a currency restructure. The trade fair grounds are massive, with about 5 exhibition halls packed with stands showcasing all sorts of services, products, packages, opportunities, and partnerships. South Korea, which is celebrating 30 years of diplomatic relations between Zimbabwe and Korea, was one of the countries exhibiting at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair for the first time. Their exhibition featured a representative from the Hyundai Group, South Africa, suppliers of K-beauty products, who were keen on establishing a footprint in Zimbabwe under the auspices of KOTRA, Korea Trade Investment Promotion Agency. There was also a demonstration of some of the activities by KOPIA, Korea Program for International Cooperation, which has been working with Zimbabwe's SEDAC to boost agricultural productivity, such as drought-resistant crops and a seed potato aeroponics model. And of course, they had K-snacks and Korean cup noodles. After my first run-in with K-instant noodles at an exhibition of Korean street food at Korea's National Day, I must say I've developed a taste for them. Pity there isn't a dedicated shop you can get them, although if you keep an eye out in some Oriental stockists, you might get lucky. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that I was pleasantly surprised to find that the Kingdom of Eswatini has a thriving economy which makes produce that is used by divisions of recognizable brands like Kellogg's, Rod's Quality, and even their own sugar. The majority of people who visited that stand were shocked at how they had underrated one of the smallest countries in Africa, which, like dynamite, comes in small packages. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that I had the pleasure of tasting a designer cocktail made from local gin by Comrade Beverages, the Matobo gin, infused with Zumbani, which has a zesty zing to it. I'm thinking some Zumbani tea, lemon, and October to June might be an interesting hit now that winter is coming this side of the world. I had not appreciated how vast the exhibitions at the trade fair are, and it took me almost the whole week to browse through them and then narrow down the ones I wanted further interaction with, of which I never did quite finish. I still have 30 business cards left from my stake of 100. Of course I had business cards. I had to carry myself as a professional and whatnot. My one gripe with the ZITF was how, for a first-time visitor, the place was confusing. I had to figure out where everything was the hard way. There's an information desk at the first circle spire, but maybe they should have included some sort of digital map or offered printed maps at the gates, or better yet, some real-time GPS map that shows you where you are and where you can find everything else. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that I preferred the business days, which had a less crowd than the public days. I particularly disliked the day with the official opening ceremony because of the security protocol, body searches and all that. And there were armed soldiers looking suitably menacing at various points that made it hard to enjoy the experience, as you tried not to look suspicious as if your camera had a sniper scope. The president and his entourage took up a lot of space as they visited the diplomatic stations and other exhibitions of interest. We literally got shooed away so the president could do his thing. This is the closest I've ever been to a president in my life. Wait, I did shake the hand of the late former president of Zimbabwe when I was in primary school, and I met another late former president of Malawi when I was 18. I wanted to record a video clip, but the security men were all sharp edges and dark suits. Is this how presidents roll? I wouldn't know. I've only shook hands with 2 other presidents in my life who are now late. Moving on swiftly. The locals of Bulawayo feel the fair has lost its way and is regarded as a Harare event hosted in Bulawayo, as it is dominated by Harare business people, with some regarding it as political patronage than commercial. Others feel it is simply an excuse for people to be up to no good with the baddies. What's been happening in your neck of the woods? What's the closest you've ever gotten to a president?